Okay, well, hi folks. I want to just talk to you, share with you a story here. We're up in the province of Loyet. That's Joe's home province. There's a church that's been started up here that we've had a little part in. And it's amazing to see what God is doing. This man here, his name is Tam, so we would say Kun Tam. And he has a very interesting story of salvation that I wanted to tell you. When he was young, he had a fear of hell, and in response to that, he did all that he could do. So he went to become a monk because he was scared of going to hell. He knew he was a sinner because he didn't know what to do. So he went and became a monk, and he was in the temple as a monk, studying and learning for about 7 years. And wasn't getting any better, and finally he inquired of a higher monk, a teacher there, what can I do about sin in my life? And he said he did not get any clear answer. It wasn't clear, and so he went to look at the text of the Buddha himself, and he came across a text that said that nobody can escape sin, that it's just in you, and you just have to do the best you can yourself. And he said when he read that, he realized, okay, there's nothing here can help me. This can't get me free of sin. And he left. And he left the temple, and he was sharing with me. He said, I already knew I was a sinner, and I already knew I'm going to go to hell. And he said, once I left, I just jumped right into it. I didn't fear sin anymore, and he just did everything. And he said that he got caught taking drugs. That became a thing in his life, and then he began to sell as well. And he had different women in his life that he said that he would play with, though he was married. And he just jumped into sin full time. Realizing I'm going to go to hell, there's nothing I can do, I'm already a sinner, that's where I'm going to go, and lived a life like that. Finally, he came back to this area, and he decided to spend his rest of his days in this home area. And while he was here, he ended up going to a Christian family nearby the church, and he would go there to drink with some of the other people who would just hang out there. And the Christian family that was also there, they invited him to church, and they said, why don't you come over and come to church? And he said, next time. But he was telling me when he said next time, that meant no time. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to go. And he would just drink, and his belief was, I know I'm deep in sin. I will go to hell. There's nothing can be done. I have no religion. When he came out of the temple, he just said, I have no religion. I don't believe anything anymore. And through his drinking, he came to visit the people one day on a Sunday, but because he wasn't clear-headed, he didn't realize it was a Sunday. And so when he got to the house, they said to him, there's nothing happening here today, no work here today. Today's the day we go to church. And you said you were going to come. You're going to come with us. And so he, but finally he came over here to the church, and they had no pastor here, folks. There's a great need here in Thailand for pastors. They had no pastor here. They were listening to a CD of Pastor Jezda preaching, and he said as he was listening to that CD, Pastor Jezda was giving the gospel, and Pastor Jezda said, everybody is a sinner. And when he said he heard that, he thought, yes, you are too. You are. The person saying this is. And he said, just as he thought that, Pastor Jester said on the CD, and I am a sinner too. And when he heard that the preacher said, and I am a sinner too, he listened. And he listened to the preaching of the gospel. And he said, in his mind after he began to put it together of the sinner and the Savior, that if these two things can come together, I can be saved. There is an answer. And he asked the people in the church that day, how can I get saved? How can I believe on Jesus? And they were all new Christians. They said, we don't know what to tell you, but call this person. And so he called somebody on the phone who led him to Christ on the phone, and God just changed his life and changed his heart, and did a miraculous work in his life that comes with salvation. Do you know what he does now? Now he works with a missionary who plants churches. He preaches many weeks, gives the gospel out. He's a living testimony of the power of God to take a man who was deeply down and deeply in sin, without hope, without answers, who tried everything else. And yet when he found Christ, he's found the truth. And everything has changed for him. This man is a vibrant testimony for Christ. And I wanted to share that with you. I want you to see that God is working here, and God is present. He's doing things, he's working. It's wonderful to be at the pointy end of the spear up here in the mission field and see the incredible things God is doing.